Welcome back to episode 54 of the Football Fanatic podcast. I'm filling in as host this week for Deck, who is the anguish of City's decline leaves him unable to join us today. But we'll do our best to not go too hard on the poor man in City, as we all know this is new ground for them in the last couple of years. So I'm joined as always by Dan and Howard. How are you, men?
Good, boss. Looking forward to your hosting debut now.
Yeah,
Have
Yeah.
you have a few hard questions for us?
I'm telling you, lads, you won't know what hit you know, so you won't. Sure, let's get straight into it. So, Dan, we might as well start with yourself and the game of the weekend. Uh,
yeah,
Liverpool may as well put the colours on the Premier League trophy and off you go.
yeah. Sure, it's over, lads. Might as well just fucking it's over now. That's it. It's done. No, it was a great result. Yeah, I think just I was very impressed with their first half against City and get the full game against Madrid. I just think that it's been a big week for Liverpool. Yeah, they're showing all the right signs as a team that will be thereabout anyone now come May. No frailties as of yet. Solid enough outside of Van Dijk trying mad flicks near the end of the game that were completely unnecessary because he was the star of the show for me. I thought he was absolutely immense. Talk about having another thing about having someone in your back pocket. For me, he just molested Haaland for 90 minutes basically. Just didn't let him do anything. Really, really gave him a hard time. I thought. Now there wasn't much supply coming into him, but yeah, he was brilliant. Salah again just keeps tipping away with the numbers as well. And you know what? Before the game, I suppose, before I looked at the starting lineup, I would have thought, City are coming here. They can't keep playing bad. Surely they're going to show up somewhere along the lines. And just had that bit of doubt, I suppose, given how successful they've been over the last number of years. But when I looked at the midfield and looked at just the kind of the lopsidedness of the team, I was confident enough that we should be going out here and doing it. And really, 2-0 probably flattered City, I thought. In the game. I think we missed a couple of chances. It could have been 4 or 5. They're just completely lacking confidence at the back. No engine in the midfield. Like we completely overran them in midfield, and especially in the first half. Not second half, we sat back off them kind of. But our plan was, I think, to kind of we're very good shape, very good defensively at the moment, and just I suppose City are leaking chances on the break. Once you break them at all in transition, you nearly have a chance through and goals. So yeah, no, really, really happy. Like again, I kind of always feel like you can't rule them out, but like 11 seems a lot when you look at like where's the next win going to come from? So yeah, all in all, it was great. A few great performances again. From start, but I think Gapco this season again, just playing off the left. He's just been in and around it and chipping in really well. And the midfield again, Gravenberg, McAllister, they were just brilliant in midfield. Nice to have Trent back as well, and particularly in the first half, I did agree with me. Some of his passing was just outrageous, especially I think for the first goal. There were some of them that were just eye catching. Not sure how much longer we're going to have that kind of right back, but yeah. So look, all in all, great. I think that it's a statement again. If we manage to get through the 2 away games that we have now, it's already been impressive. But if you can go away to Newcastle and then win the last Merseyside, in fact, it's the last Merseyside derby at Goodison. There's just a bit extra in it, and that as well. But hopefully Gomez as well. Sorry, as I just mentioned, Gomez just coming in didn't seem out of place at all either. I thought distribution on the ball was quite good for the game as well. And even though Konate is a blow to be out till the new year, and Bradley's out to the new year as well, I read today. So that's a pity, missing 2 players like that in regards to rotating them. But all in all, you can't. Like it's kind of really hard to believe. I don't know about Gino, but just as a Liverpool fan, like expectations would never have been that we'd even be. Mine weren't anyway. That we'd even be competing for the title. Top 4 would have been the aim, and even as time was going on there, I felt, at some stage here, this is going to hit, and it will. I mean, no doubt. But like to have a lead when it hits, I think that's the big part. If you go and we can lose 3 games now, Arsenal have to go away to Anfield, don't they? There's as well. Yeah, so like if you're looking at Arsenal as being the main threats now, like that's another one that they'd have to go to Anfield. So you can afford to drop a few points, which is always
You're
nice to
like
have that
you're
cushion.
right,
So.
Dan, as in it was so convincing. I was just looking at the XG there. Like
Oh yeah,
Liverpool were 3.57 to City 0.84, and a big influence that was was De Bruyne's missed chance from Van Dijk
Yeah.
there. So like, Howard, if you're looking at that going, what has happened to City? Like come to October, this team was like unbeatable. Like as in had a fear factor, and you're talking a month later, 6 games later, and they didn't win in November. Like, is it just
Just
Rodri or is
shows
there
you.
more to it?
Yeah. I think it starts with Rodri. It begins with R and ends in I. I think that was the beginning of it, and I think since then their confidence just shot. But it is amazing how poor they actually were. Like as Dan was saying, he was nervous before the game. I thought maybe City might show up a bit, but I think as Dan mentioned before, like the City's record there under Pep is pretty horrific as it was. So the last place with the confidence that they wanted to be going is Anfield, and it just didn't look like a team. It didn't look like champions. I guess you might thought with all the experience they have, won 6 league titles there out of whatever 7. You'd think they would have come out with this kind of. There was a part of me that said, "Oh, they're going to come out and show and prove to everyone
Me too.
this title. These lads are not finishing the title." But they went out with an absolute whimper. I thought. I was kind of shocked how poor they were. No ideas, no belief. Walker, I think, is done. Like he's just not at the races. I think there was talk of him going to Bayern Munich. I remember a couple of seasons ago. They probably should have let him go then. Like Diaz again, supposed to be the leader at the back. He was at 6s and 7s. Ortega coming in, trying to outplay Ederson and be more comfortable on the ball. Again, not good enough. Akanji only all right. Ake only all right. De Bruyne, there's obviously something going on there because it was like 1-0 down. Like you're lucky to be going in 1-0 down, and you have a chance to bring on one of your best players who's on the bench, who's running around when he comes on. He's running like a madman, so he must have some sort of fitness to him. And you're only bringing him on after you go 2-0 down in the 5th minute. Like I found that weird. I think there's something going on between him and Pep, from what I hear. So there's a few question marks on that aspect. So there's a lot of internal disjointment, I'd say, going on at City at the moment, and you can smell it on the pitch. Phil Foden, I thought, was lively-ish in parts, but again, looked like the only person going to do anything, but still has had a very poor season in the grand scheme of things. When you look at his figures, like I think Haaland was the only person on the City starting 11 that scored a goal for them this season. So a Premier League goal. So it's fairly frightening when you look at the numbers. If you pull back all the numbers, and yet again, we were here last week, me and you, Mossy, thinking, oh well, they might nick a draw or City might win, and it just
I put down City to win.
I was just going to say that, gentlemen. Just going to say that to you. Both of you felt to get something.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's because of the reputation. Like, as in, they've been in, like basically one of the best teams in the last 10 years, and I just watched Liverpool against Madrid during the week, and I think I said in the WhatsApp, I was like, I know what I was thinking City are going to get out now of this, as they went from 3-0 up to 3-all with final. Like, so it's just like I was just chatting before. I think confidence is a huge part of it. Like,
it is.
You can see players wilting, afraid of the ball, and like that City team they don't really have to overcome adversity too often. They tend to be, I suppose, dominating games and in the lead, and they have had like a few harsh, I suppose, lessons like Madrid a few years ago, but by and large, they're in control of games, and they just don't look like that same team at all. Maybe it is an age factor, maybe it's bad judgment in terms of rebuilding the team, but it's hard to put your finger. Is it just a bad run, come back with lack of confidence, or is there more serious things going on, like the likes of Foden falling off and De Bruyne not playing, and maybe there is more going on in the background than is out in the public.
Yeah, but do you know, like when you look at it though, like Nunes that was playing, they played him, I know, a couple of times this season off the left. He's a central midfield player by trade, isn't he?
Yeah,
who can run and
who can run
has athleticism,
exactly.
Yeah,
and you're kind of just there going, right, fair enough to play them, but you think about it, right? So Liverpool, regardless, like this season, Trent has been better defensively, but his first game back after being out injured, you think, right, if you're going to like look when Doku came on, I thought Trent actually done okay against him, but like Nunes was never really going to go and take Trent on or try and go by him, and I just felt that, it was a real defensive move to kind of go and play Nunes as, a centre field to kind of tuck in. And when you have Trent there, and the frailties there, and obviously Fanatic covers all the ground for Trent when Trent bombs forward, Fanatic gets across where now Gomez is playing. So I just kind of thought, like, they might have missed a trick there by not starting. I know, fair enough, Doku's only there, a few of them only back from injury and stuff, but I just thought it was bizarre. Like, Gundogan he's never been a holding midfield player in his career. He's been a player who goes and gets on the end of things in the box and been really, really good at it. He's obviously lost a yard, or it looks like several yards at the moment. And as I said last week here, Rico Lewis, what's his position? You just know where that lad is going to turn up. You know he's going to play, but where is he going to play? And I don't think Rico Lewis has any positional sense of the position. He kind of just glides around the pitch doing his own thing, if you ask me. And
Feel
like, there
sorry for
was,
him though, as
oh
a
yeah, of
young player
course,
coming into that
yeah,
setup
yeah,
and being expected to jump up to that without really any leadership around you or protection. Like
yeah.
he is expected being used as a utility player doesn't really give him the
Utilities,
opportunity
yeah,
to become familiar and prove that position because he's not playing there regularly. Like, and I also thought it was like surely you should have learned from what you did against Tottenham. Like he doubled down in the same setup, and you clearly, if you had width in that team, Savinho and Vandaku come on, you saw the
mm,
difference in City going forward, and they were crying out for that in the first half, even as an outball. And I just found it, whether it was Pep doing Pep things and going, no, I thought this should work against Tottenham, so I think it will work against Liverpool, or it's just that is the situation that they're in injury wise. I wasn't sure, but
yeah. And as you said, there's Savinho, like running off the right, like Robertson's been Liverpool's weak link this season. He's been poor enough. And again, like Savinho would have been a good player to have gone at him and really given him a gun. And look, I know you lose out on the defensive qualities of the likes of Silva, who is does work hard, even though again he's not the player he was last season at
No,
all, is he either? Like, and he's
no.
making silly fouls and really petulant in his attitude as well.
He's
Not even
always been like that.
he has, yeah, yeah, true, but yeah, I don't know. Like, look, Forest are going well. You still think City should eventually get a win on their belt, like, but it's crazy. Crazy what's going on, isn't it?
yeah, you wouldn't be confident going into the Nottingham Forest game. Like if
Mm.
they were to lose it, you wouldn't be shockingly surprised. But I suppose a team with that
Yeah, they're
quality,
missing
and if
a lot
it's going
of
to turn,
yeah, they're missing a
it
lot
is
of
going to
personnel.
turn.
It's like Kovacic, like losing Rodri, and then like having, as I said, having Nunes, who's another centre midfield, and you're out of Kovacic and Rodri. You think you'd stick him in there when you have Doku out in the wing. Like it is a bit mind boggling there. Like Pep
And De
maybe tried
Bruyne,
to,
what's
yeah,
going
and De
on? You
Bruyne,
know,
Pep maybe try to be too peppy. Oh, I can turn this around and
too
be,
peppy.
trying to come up with some magical idea that like how did he get away with putting Nunes out? And this is a whole revelation. But I think he's not going to be able to turn this around. I think he usually needs a better structure to what he has players available wise to come up with things. And it kind of brings the question of like, you know, how would Pep get on if he didn't have the perfect player in every position with a team? Like he like he has a half to complete a team. I get that, but like playing Nunes instead of Doku there, I thought it was a weird decision. Like obviously he's genius Pep, but like given when when the chips are down and you're having to put players here, there, and everywhere. I'm not sure how much of a knack he has for maybe taking a team with less talent and bringing them through the tougher times than maybe other managers might have. So it's a yeah. What do you think of that one?
Yeah, but like, they weren't even set up to. It's like it's weird. The setup was like really they needed to win yesterday. Fair enough. Again, a point wouldn't have been the worst result given their record, but like they kind of even didn't even go. I didn't feel like, as you said, they got to get the starter, Howard, when you were chatting, like they like went out with a whimper. There was nothing really in them at
No,
all.
no fight. Yeah,
Yeah, no, it didn't look that way, which is not Pep. All of Pep's teams, I know the quality of players, but it wasn't a bad side. Outside of the midfield part, they've had a lot of players who've won a lot of titles in that side.
yeah.
Interesting question would be like, what do you think then in January? Like where they obviously need a midfielder. Like that's I think. But like, where do you think they need to strike? The midfield? Do they need another attacker? Like again, like, and Haaland's not doing this. They don't have another option. Like they don't have Alvarez that they had last year. They don't have that kind of another goal scorer, really, do they?
No, I think yeah.
Need
I think
a
Doku.
Joselu style
Yeah,
signing that
yeah,
Madrid had, a player that was happy enough to not be the main striker, but has enough quality to come on and affect the game. I feel like that's kind of what they need. And centre midfield, then they're being linked to Zumendi, so
Mm.
I don't know. I feel like that's unlikely, but you wouldn't know. Although looking at it at the minute, if I was offered to go to Liverpool and the way things are going there, I was offered to go to City, your decision would be pretty straightforward.
Can you attract players when you have the court case as well hanging over you? Like, as in, will will players wait till the summer till they know what's actually happening? Can you? That must be a bit of a question mark too.
Has to be.
Yeah, yeah.
It has to
Um,
be considered in contract. But look, we'll move on, and we'll hopefully see, for Deck's sake, we might see them have a bit of an upturn against Nottingham
He was out
Forest and
having dinner
nonetheless.
with Lord Panic. The two of them were panicking there. I think he was out for dinner with him at the weekend.
So let's jump to London Stadium, Howard. Arsenal, since late in first half, I thought. So although I would say the two best goals were scored by West Ham, but go on,
yeah.
give us a breakdown of it. What did you think?
Yeah, pretty crazy first half. Like I thought, like it was nearly going exactly like it went last year. It was like 4-0 after whatever 35 minutes or 30 minutes. I ran out to the loo after 4-0. I was like, I'll go for an all whiz now. I went out to the loo. And then came back like literally like 2 minutes later. Came back, it was like 4-1. Oh, gee. And then they just had won a free kick. So I was like, what's going on? And 4-2. Like, look, I think them two goals. I wouldn't be running around saying, "Oh, that Arsenal last season now they wouldn't concede them two goals." I don't think they're like them kind of goals. I think they were literally like one was a quality free kick, which it can happen against any team, and the other one was just a brilliant true ball. I must say, for the first goal the West Ham got, and I wouldn't like. I think like it wasn't like West Ham are knocking on the door after that. Like they didn't really have any chances after that. So I thought we did pretty well to see out the game 5-2. Gabriel again, set pieces. I think like anytime Arsenal get a set piece now, it's like the other team like nearly feel like they're gonna score. Like it's a bit it's a bit ominous when
And the
Gabriel is
delivery.
yeah, delivery is quality, and then
Delivery is
like
quality.
how do you stop Gabriel running at full pace like when he's up in the air heading the ball? It's very difficult to stop that. You know what I mean? Unless you're fouling him.
It's more like just observing it. It reminds me of an NFL scrimmage. Like there's so many players organized to block the runners to create space for him to, and he
Yeah.
attacks the ball so well. But like, I just it's
It's
really NFL. You need to like to break it down to see all the blocking, and it'd take them about 10 minutes in VAR to figure out what was going on. It's
what's
impressive,
going
man.
on.
What's going on? All the
So,
blocking that's going all off creating space. It's genius. The set piece coach is doing phenomenal
yeah,
work.
he's
It's
doing he's doing wonder. Like he's obviously one of the best around. Like at his game, and like they're just such a threat. Like like usually if you're winning, if you're dominating the game and you're not making any chances, you should be getting corners regardless. You should be getting might be getting that many shots off, but you should be getting corners if you're the if you're the better team. And if you're able to put away some of them corners and be dominant in that aspect, it does make a massive difference. But overall, like, the Odegaard effect it's still happening. He didn't have maybe as good as the games he's having in recent weeks, but he still like makes the whole team take like. Even I thought Rice was better. Everyone just seems to be better when they're playing with Martin Odegaard. So it's I don't know how to say it. It's easy to say one player made the difference, but I think it's as simple as that. Like we say, it's not just Rodri for Man City, but do you know what? Maybe it is just
maybe it
Rodri
is.
for Man City. So like it's crazy how these players make such a big difference and have such holes in teams if they're missing. So, but no, look overall very good. Havertz got on the score sheet again. I think they need to go on a bit of run now. Arsenal, like I think over December now, like Liverpool have let's say Newcastle away, Everton away, Tottenham away by the end of Christmas, and hopefully Arsenal really need to be on they need to keep winning. They can't afford too many more slip ups. Like it's very hard for me to know is this Liverpool team that's going to get 100 plus points, or is this a Liverpool team that are going to go so far ahead that other teams just stop even trying, and then they finish with 90 points or something, and then if the other teams didn't drop 10 points, you might be still in with a chance. But look, I think at the end of December, the positioning of Arsenal and Liverpool and the other teams, Chelsea and City, are like it will tell an awful lot. If Liverpool are still 9 points ahead at the end of Christmas, I would say it's either they've won all their games in December and they're on for 100 plus points, or other teams have dropped more points, which is not affordable at this stage. You know what I mean? So,
Do you think
like
the Arsenal would be buoyed by the fact that they were on the other side of this last year and they were reeled in? I think that'll give them a bit of hope that they can
I definitely
step
think
up and catch Liverpool.
I definitely think Arsenal will have a say in the Premier League this year, and I think it's simply because they've been in two title races now up until pretty much the end. So they've known I think that team is same group of players that they know what it takes to get to. They know they need to get 90 points or 85, 90 points to win the league. That's what they think. Look, if Liverpool go and do better than that, you got to throw your hands up and say, well done, Liverpool, for doing that. But I think that Arsenal team, that's what they're setting their sights on, is that point tally. And I think they can still do that. I definitely think they can get that, but it just depends on. I can't see them falling off. Like, I really can't see them falling off. But who knows? But I think the experience of the last few seasons will help them stay on track, I think.
And I think you're right. I think you're right, though, what Massey's saying there. Like, the fact that you're on the other side of it's really. I think the pressure, especially because, I suppose, given again, Liverpool, new season, new manager, and fair enough, have a good few experienced players. They do have a lot as well that have never been there and done it too, that are in and around it. So it would be interesting that Arsenal kind of have that seasoned approach of kind of like going near enough to the wire. And like Liverpool did fall off it, kind of come April time last year, the wheels started to come off there. So again, I think it's about having them out those. It'll be, because if there is a big cushion, that nearly relaxes, I think, the team in front. Can be a good thing or a bad thing. But Arsenal's next fixtures are good. Like, you know what I mean? As in the fixtures up to Christmas, when you look at them versus Liverpool's, are better. I'd be amazed if it was still 9. Personally, I don't know what you think, Aaron. I don't think it'll be 9. I think it'll be less.
I would be amazed, but I also have been amazed with Liverpool so far this season. So it's how much. But like, look, the Newcastle games will tell a lot. Like you're after coming back after playing City and Real Madrid, and then you have to go under the lights in St James's Park. Like, St James's Park should be massively up for it. Like, you would think now that is a more difficult game than City in Anfield.
Yes, given the fact that the game that Newcastle gave Arsenal and gave City when they came to St James's Park, they do seem to, in particular, be up for the bigger games. In particular, I'd be interested to see whether or not Isak will play, because he went off injured. So that's one question mark. And again, their last 2 results were poor. Like, they were beaten by West Ham.
And Liverpool have a good record again.
They do, yeah. So I'm with you though. I'm concerned too. It's one of them ones where you definitely can go and drop points at St James's. Looking at Everton, if it wasn't an emergency,
I think it is a mental shift though, Dan, isn't it? Like, that up to this point, it was like, are they the title contenders? Whereas now the pressure's like, there's an expectation, you're 11 points clear of City, you're 9. There's a slight shift mindset there, which can bring pressure, and pressure can lead to mistakes. That would be the only, like, I think with the likes of Van Dijk and that they have experience to deal with it. But if anything was to happen with those, I think that's to Van Dijk in particular. I think if it was an injury was to occur there, or maybe Gravenberch, that's where I think there might be an issue. But as of now, it's hard to see Liverpool slipping off.
The away game, Mossy, the away games, like, I can't see them dropping many more points in Anfield. It's the away games that might, like the Southampton game that they played the last day. Like, they were lucky to win that game, and that should have been. They were gifted 3 goals there. It's them kind of games that, when they're not fully concentrating on it and they're not fully at it, that they could end up dropping points. And another factor which I think could come into it is the contract stuff. Like, if Mo Salah does get another contract in the 1st of January, there's it's just an exterior factor that could impact things. It could positively or negatively. I don't know how it's going to impact it, but it could impact things. So there is a few exterior things that have to, like, we're only how many games in? 12, 13 games in? Like, it's
13 games,
yeah. We're still
loads to go. But just to make you word, Howard, Newcastle's XG against Crystal Palace was 0.04. So when after Isak going off, and their goal was, ironically, a Mark Gahey own goal, was his contribution to Newcastle.
Yeah, they're definitely not, like, I don't think they're definitely, if they can turn up, it'll be a difficult game. Just on the last 2 results, like, especially that. I think that
Yeah, they've
West
been a bit
Ham on the
off it.
home, they've been a
Yeah,
bit
it
off
would
it.
be interesting to see whether they're able to step it back up again. But look, we'll move on to kind of the next in the title challenge, who are kind of becoming more and more part of it. I think are Chelsea, who had an impressive win against Aston Villa, 3-1 or 3-0, apologies. Um, so I have to give credit to Maresca, Dan, about the job that he's done there, and to
Unbelievable.
see you genuinely see Chelsea now as being part of that title contender, that chasing pack.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, very early in the season, the signs were there, even in some of the games that they drop points, that there's a style of play and they're good on the eye. And all they need to do, which they have done recently, is to kind of shore things up defensively. If you look at them, they look a lot more solid. And like you have to really take it off, considering like we did kind of it's out a bit at the start of the season about how many fucking players they have, who hadn't they signed, and we and last season Howard in particular, he loves Chelsea. Would have went in on it from time to time about that, like about this kind of like circus, nearly like Saudi circus, is another type of circus with Todd Bowley, but like he has done a remarkable job, really. I think to really not just steady the ship, but you look at them going, nobody really will want to play them. Like they came to Anfield and in the first half they were well the better team, and look where Liverpool are, and like that's I suppose testament to them that in the games that they have been beaten, they probably could have got something out of the ones that they've lost. So there's no doubt there's not many better in the league to watch at the moment anyway, and they just have the X factor with Cole Palmer. Like, again, anything you were talking about there, Van Dijk, like if Chelsea were to lose him, when you
Yeah.
look at who'd play like João Felix or like Palmer is arguably, there wouldn't be much I think between him and Salah really, probably maybe for best player in the league at the moment. I think he went through a little small spell where he's quiet for a game or two, but like he's brilliant. He just is such a good player to watch. Everything seems to go through him, and like that kind of freedom that he seems to play with. Maresca has kind of nearly has a free role in the Chelsea side to kind of do what he wants. And they've shored things up definitely defensively. They've kind of got things together there. Goalkeeper is definitely still an ongoing question mark, I think, in the kind of bigger picture. But look, do I see them? I can see them staying with the pace. I don't think that they'll be there in around it come the end of the season. But I think it's putting in a serious marker again if they're able to go and spend a few bob and maybe get Maresca get a few of more of his players in. That they will be coming for. There's no doubt that team has the potential there, especially with it looks like a really good manager to challenge and to be, I suppose, a team that will become, I think, in time a bigger threat with what they've got. So yeah, and there's definitely room for improvement in them. And again, sorry, Jackson was the other one. Like, we all took piss out of him at times as well last season, and look what he's doing. And his goal, I think, was exceptional. Just shows the difference in him. The goal that he got the first one at the weekend as well. Yeah, he's been
Yeah, I think
exceptional,
there's
and
stats wise there's been like about a 50% improvement in his
yeah,
finishing from this season and last season. But like I suppose you looked against them on the other side, that was Villa. And
mm,
Villa came into the game and they look a bit of a tired team. They're in a bad run. And I was just comparing the changes that Chelsea made from their midweek game and Villa made. And Chelsea had 10 players changed from their Thursday night game in the Conference League to Villa's making two changes in Champions League. Do you think that depth of squad and that ability to change, Howard, gives Chelsea more of an advantage than we probably, or gives them more of an edge than maybe we're suggesting so far?
Like Palmer isn't even in their Conference League
no,
squad. Like, he can't even play. So it's, to be honest, it's kind of, me being the hatred for Chelsea coming back out again. But like it is very annoying that they are able to spend the amount of money they're able to spend in such a short space of time to build up these two super teams that they have. And then everyone else has to play by the rules because these lads are just selling hotels and stuff. I just it's infuriating to kind of witness, and then people saying, "Oh, aren't they great? Aren't they fantastic? Look how good they are." It's like, of course they're fucking good. They spend so much money, like it's just ridiculous. So, as Dan says, it is hard to get a team right. Loads of people spend money, but to this level, like it is a huge amount, like huge amount of money. Like they have Lavia, Enzo, and Casado, like together they're like 300 million in setting them. I feel like it's just sick, like you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
It's an insane amount of money, but Like you can
Same,
see
but
the other
look,
side of that, a club like Villa, like they had to
yeah,
sell Douglas Luiz during the summer and for
yeah,
or PFA, what is it? Financial
rules, yeah,
related rules.
yeah.
Um, and you see that their midfield is lacking that little bit with Annan out
Yeah.
injured, and
I
it's
yeah,
just
I
is that
think
leading to their drop off?
Emery. I remember Emery from being an Arsenal fan, of course, and he managed us. And like there was a time where he got found out a bit, and he even came out and said there the other day that like teams are figuring him out now. So it's kind of worried that he says that like it's like are you kind of one trick pony? You can't change your team, or maybe he's saying to the board, I need more players because I'm being found out, kind of thing. But like Emery's a great manager, very good at like you know, mid-table teams and bringing them up to a certain point. But I've always questioned whether he's a team. Like I never thought he would have been. I'll give him a few more years in Arsenal, and he would have done it. I don't think that was going to be ever the case. I think that level. I think he is a manager that's always going to be in that level. I don't think he's going to be
Yeah,
a manager that's ever going to manage a top team to top titles. Like he went to PSG, didn't work out. And that was probably the highest team he's probably been with. But since then, he won Europa League, obviously Seville. But what I mean is like one of the big ones, one of the big your Barcelona's or Real Madrid's will never get him in. I can't see. People said United should have got him in. I I I'm not on the same page as everyone would be when they say he's obviously a very good manager, but proof is in the pudding when it's he's been here a season and a half. Proof is in the pudding when you have to be there for a couple of more years there and keep progressing. You know what I mean? And I don't think he's done that to a point. And is it his fault or is it, as I said, Douglas Louise getting sold and stuff like that? Maybe a combination of both. But I would worry a bit about Villa now in the next while. I don't know if are they going to be like they're 12th, I think, at the moment. Like they're
yeah.
not doing great at all. Like so. I would worry about their slip between now and let's say the next 3 or 4 months and see how much that slip, how much you can recover that, I guess, and
Yeah.
how much
I
time you
suppose
can
that
give.
the Champions League will play a big role in that because they seem to be able to step up for the Champions League games, but
They've been doing
struggle
well
there.
at
Yeah.
Champions League, yeah. That's his bread and butter kind of thing.
One-off
The
games, like yeah.
ties, but it's the Premier League now. I'd be interested to see how he goes.
I wouldn't be as I think you're a bit harsh to on them. I know they're going through a period, but like he took them over when Gerrard was had them really in the bottom three. Do you know what I mean? Like the job that he's done to where he's gotten to, I think has been immense. I think they are short. Money seems to has been an issue. It probably won't be given that they're in the Champions League and they up their ticket prices and all that jazz. If they, and it looks like they have a decent chance with his record in Europe of maybe getting into the last 16, maybe, and who knows from there. But like, you wonder the likes of Duran. You wonder like, would that be a player if he's not going to get in regularly? Could they use him to fund transfers? If he's not going to Watkins is the main man. What would you get for Duran now? You'd be talking top books, wouldn't you, for him? Even the likes of an
For his
Arsenal
age
there or
profile,
somewhere.
I would say, yeah.
Yeah, and like he seems to have everything, like even the strength, the pace, like and his goal scoring record for them. So he just can't seem to be able to get a proper look in. Whether or not they'd use him to fund a bit of it, like definitely, I think Ramsey and Onana both been out. I think Ramsey is actually a very good player as well. They're missing both of them in the middle. Defensively, though, like usually the Emirates teams are strong defensively, but they've had a few games where they've
Yeah,
looked
I think Conte has
horrendous.
been out injured and
Yeah,
they have no cover at right back for Matty Cash. He's kind of
Cash.
their
Yeah,
only right back and he's hit and miss at times. So like there are frailties still in the squad.
yeah.
And Bailey has been off it. And because they play McGinn kind of one side,
Watkins
A
has
lot of it goes through Bailey the other side. And Watkins has been missing chances left, right,
He
and
missed
centre.
two
He's
good ones
been
in there at the weekend.
yeah,
Yeah.
he missed a couple of good ones at the weekend. So
Yeah. Do you think though? Like I like they have a couple of games coming up. They play. I think they play Southampton. I think in Brentford and somebody else that they could win. Like eventually a couple of the games that they have coming up. I think in the next 6 or 7 are quite decent fixtures for them.
yeah,
So I still
they're
think
winnable.
that. Yeah, I still think that the Champions League probably is the part that's the 2 games a week thing, like where if they were able to do what Chelsea are doing and play a second string, they'd be all right. So I do think
It's
though that
interesting, I suppose. I think because last year they were playing the Conference League, they were in the routine of playing both, but I think
yeah,
it's the jump in quality doesn't allow them to rotate
massively.
players as much, and I think that's kind of
Yeah.
where it's impacting them more.
Yeah.
But look, we'll move on to United, Everton.
Oh,
Yeah, lads, 2 wins in a row. I don't know what's going on. No,
Rashford's back, baby.
no, well, I'm never going to have fun. But there was this one moment in the game where I saw Rashford running past people to get the ball back, and I fairly fainted. I was like, "What's going on here?" But yeah, look, it was a great win. We scored 4 goals and expected XG of 1.07, so we weren't exactly tearing them apart. Everton were impressive enough. Well, they made us they exposed us a good few times in the first 25, 30 minutes. They could have easily, with a bit more guile up front, could have taken the lead. But and once we got the goal, we powered on, and Ahmad was exceptional again out in
Mm,
the right wing. Pressed Tarkovsky for one of the goals, and Brantwaite had a stinker for a
terrible, yeah,
club
terrible.
that for his potential, a club that he's been potentially linked with again. He didn't put himself in the spotlight too in a positive way. But yeah, look, Xerxes getting 2 goals is great. He couldn't really ask for too much more. He played well in that deeper role, playing running onto it.
Look
Um,
composed, didn't he? His finishes though as well. Like, he looked,
He's a good finisher, though. I think he's
yeah,
always been a good finisher.
yeah, yeah.
it's amazing what a bit of confidence does for him. Like he took the second one very well. And I suppose the only kind of disappointment really was Martinez and Menu both got stupid yellow cards, which rules them out for the Arsenal game.
Mm.
So there, that was a big enough blow. But look, I'd be worried enough defensively against Arsenal how we're going to set up because we've been cut open by Ipswich and by Everton. So going into Odegaard and Saka, it could be interesting. But look, we'll take that when we get there, and I don't think there's going to be too much pressure on Amrin, but he's got a couple of difficult games between. We've got Arsenal, then he's got Nottingham Forest, and then away to the Etihad. So he's got 3 tough games coming up.
Away to Anfield at the
Soon,
start
so
of
just
January as well.
yeah, he's a tough enough run of it now, but it's
Yeah.
really about getting points on the board. We're only 3 points off fourth, so try and keep tipping away, going in the right direction. We can might possibly climb up the table a bit.
I was
So
amazed at the score though. When I seen the score line, I was like, gee, because they just, I don't know, United have really been struggling for goals. So to see them whack 4 past
yeah,
Everton, was still a fair showing, I thought, yeah.
our goal difference up to +5. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's excellent.
yeah, only
I
ways
think
up.
when's that? I don't know if Ten Hag ever scored 4 goals, did he? Like,
No, I think it took. I think it was only. I think it was possibly this season. His biggest win came in the League Cup, the one 7-0. But up to that, his biggest win had been 3-0. So
Mad.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy. But look, we talking about United. We move on to our interim manager has after taking on position now at Leicester. A difficult position. Like Leicester lost badly to Brentford at the weekend. They scored the first goal, Brennan Notte with a nice finish after Jamie Vardy. Uh, did Jamie Vardy things and hassled the defender and got a nice ball across. But Van Nistelrooy coming in there, it's a hard place to come into, I'd imagine. Now he spoke positively. He's a good friend with Maresca, their former teammates,
Mm.
and that Maresca had spoke very highly of Leicester, etc. And that was one of his swaying points. But it's an interesting appointment considering the body of work he has is in the Dutch league,
Mm.
interim with United, and not a lot more than that. How do you think you'll get on with the Leicester job when they're just outside the relegation zones, Dan?
Yeah, I thought we talked about it last week that I think it's an exciting appointment to see how we get on. I think it's not, like it's my question was whether or not where Leicester thinking about him before the couple of games that he got to showcase himself at United. That was my question, whether or not is this just kind of like, right, well, he's done all right there and he's available. It's an easy enough kind of one to just go and put him in, or was he on the short list? Maybe as you said, if he was friends with Maresca, maybe there was some sort of a link of some description or something. I don't know, but that was my question mark over it. He's probably like his goal is going to be to just keep them up. I'd imagine now, where I think maybe they may have been the start of the season, hoping for maybe a bit better than that, possibly. Um, but yeah, like it's going to be to keep them up. It's a dodgy enough one though, isn't it? I think because they're haven't won in like 7 games or something. Like they're not, and they will play better football. But do they have the players in the Premier League to be able to play a more attractive style of football and not leak goals and score enough? You can't keep relying on Vardy. What age is Vardy?
No. I mean,
He's
37, 38,
yeah,
something
yeah.
like
Do
that
you know what I mean?
range.
Like so like Yeah, I think it's one of them where, of the teams that came up, you would say Leicester the best chance. And I still probably sit here now and say I still think of the three that have come up, I still for some reason think Leicester have the best chance of staying up. But yeah, I think that it is a dodgy enough one, but then again, like they weren't going to go for Big Sam after giving Cooper the job, or you know what I mean. They weren't going to go for
No.
or maybe one I thought of, which again wouldn't have went down too well with the fans would be Moisey. He was one that came to mind as a kind of player who could win there, steady the
Yeah,
ship, but we're probably do enough to keep them up. Like I thought, if Moisey went in there in the morning, I'd say they'll stay up. To be honest, I wouldn't be so sure of this race. That'd be my thought on it. But I'm interested to see how he get on. And he came across very well in that short spell he had, even just in his press conferences and the way he kind of held himself. So it's probably an exciting appointment because you don't really know what you're going to get with them as well. So there's a kind of a bit of an unknown with it. But if you're a team near the bottom, bringing in a manager with that much unknown, is that a good move? I'm not sure.
it is a bit of a gamble, all right. And Howard, what do you think? Spurs doing Spurs things, drawing 1-1 at Fulham?
Doing Spursy things, yeah. No, look, Fulham are a decent team. I watched
Yeah,
like highlights of that game. Like Fulham were probably unlucky not even to get the win. They went down 10 men near the end of the game. But look, Tottenham, magical one moment and just terrible the next. Like I think they drew against Roma midweek as well. So they're very hot and cold, aren't they? And I don't know. It doesn't seem to stem from Ange, but I feel like he's really taken on the mantle of it. I don't know if he's the right coach to shake it out of him. But look, we all enjoy watching Spurs do Spurs things, and I think Ange is a big part to play in that. So I don't think we'd want to get rid of that aspect of things. But no, it's disappointing if you're a Tottenham fan to win 4-0 and then have this opportunity against Fulham to hit on. But look, Fulham are going to take loads of points off teams this season. Arsenal have them in 2 games away from home. It's going to be a very tough game in Craven Cottage,
It
So
was a bad, it was a bad red card, wasn't it? Tom Kearney tackle. It was
oh
bad,
yeah, it was.
bad,
bad.
bad
I
record.
dragged all down the back of his calf.
I must say, Reece Nelson had a great game. He's on loan from Arsenal, and the few Arsenal lads who've gone there have done all right. Iwobi and Smith Rowe. So like, they have a few nice, tidy players there. And I
Mm.
wouldn't, yeah, I kind of like to see Fulham do well. They're play decent football.
Half their midfielder
But
Arsenal players. So like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a link there. No, but
Yeah,
in fairness, Tottenham, like you think they might be up there about it, like fourth place or up top four, and then
yeah.
you get a wave of reassurance that that they'll do
They
a
did the same
Spursy
thing
thing, and
again. Yeah, but they did the same thing when they went bet United, and we were all kind of raving about how impressive they were. But they went out the next game and lost. They were 2 up against Brighton and lost 3-2. I think it was the next Premier League game. So this is just
yeah.
something similar again, where it's like it can't be trusted. And I know they have issues at the back. That they are missing a few players. I think Solanke was out, wasn't he? As well, he didn't play.
when
Yeah,
are
Um,
they
he was
back?
sick. Yeah,
if Sake or
he
whatever.
was
Yeah,
sick,
yeah,
and Son played through the middle. And when the Son plays through the middle, they basically can just play on the counter. It really does impact on them. Like, I did think James Madison, there was a free kick. He tried to do
mm,
a sneaky one under the wall. I'd say that would the next time they're going for a free kick, Fulham will have someone doing the dirty work lying on the floor. They
I'm
won't let
surprised
that
they didn't
happen
have
again.
one. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
surprised. Yeah,
I heard them described as a draft blocker. That's what I heard that position described as recently. I was like, I hadn't heard that one before. So
draft block. Just on free kicks, though, just well, it's in my head. The Palmer was gas, isn't it? When you see an indirect free kick now, 'cause you never see them. So you see the
yeah,
indirect. It's just mad. It wasn't like they were just all on the line, and you were just waiting to see could he find a way through. Like it just looked. It's I don't know. It's just something about
it
it.
was so exciting. I was like, I actually think all handballs in the box should be indirect frees. It'd be far more exciting rather than arguing whether it's a penalty or not. But look,
Yeah.
we'll jump on to Nottingham Forest game. Forest got a good win, 1-0 with a Wood penalty. Smaddock's giving away the penalty there and a clumsy challenge on Jada Silva. And Brighton, Southampton was controversial enough, a bit of argy
Mm,
bargy on the sideline between the two managers, weren't getting on with each other. And Southampton were unlucky. They could have stole it in the
mm.
end, but goal ruled out for indirect kind of offside, ruled it off. But we'll finish off the last game, which is pretty controversial and might spark I suppose, the end of Gary O'Neill's time there with Wolves. But 4-2 loss to Bournemouth, 3 penalties given away. Goalkeeper fighting with the fans. and some of the fans were removed at half time with Jose Sa having an altercation with them and being restrained by members of the stewards. So it doesn't paint a good picture of what's going on at Molyneux, Howard, does it?
No, I just look at the table here. Nine points in total. Like for the players that Wolves have, like they're 19 or 18. Like for the players that have, like they have it Nuri and Cunha, and like they have some nice tidy players. And it's kind of surprising that they've only picked up 9 points in the grand scheme of things when you've seen them turn it on in certain games. And like absolutely, like they've who's the bet 4-1 or 4-2 to beat the who did they beat last weekend?
Fulham, was it?
Fulham, but Fulham actually, and they're decent.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
impressive.
yeah,
So like they have it in them. I wouldn't be too worried about them going down, but in the same sense, there's something funny going on in there. Like he didn't want Jose Sarr at the beginning of the season, and now he wants him. Like there was talk of Wolves going for Aaron Ramsdale in the summer. And I think what they got, was it Johnson they got in the end? Was it? Who did they get?
That was
yeah.
a terrible decision.
Yeah, like and now that hasn't worked out, so they're gone back to Jose Sarr. Like so, it kind of doesn't look well on whoever did the recruiting, or if it was Gary O'Neill as well. The probably doesn't look well on his part. But do you
Yeah,
do you think he's in trouble?
yeah. You were saying that you reckon he's in trouble, yeah?
I reckon he's in trouble. He made strange
Yeah.
decisions. Like there's such a toxic atmosphere in Molyneux by the end of that game, and it's been kind of booed. They've been booing them for a few games, but made strange decisions in that Dawson is back. Craig Dawson is back and could play in centre defence, which would have made a lot
Mm.
of sense considering he mentioned that like Bournemouth had physicality and speed and Evan Nielsen up front. And then he played Lamina back in that position and left Dawson on the bench. It was just strange things that didn't make sense. Sort of blamed the players in the post match interview indirectly, but was pretty much saying it was their fault. And when you get to that stage when you're blaming the players and there's a toxic atmosphere in the stadium and your players are starting into altercations with the fans, I kind of feel like you're really
Yeah.
on
You're
borrowed
at
time at that stage.
Just
Like,
just looking there, 4 of their next 6 games are away from home. So that
well,
maybe wouldn't fill you full of confidence either. They're away to Everton, West Ham, home to Ipswich then. Well, I suppose then they play Ipswich and then away to Leicester, home to
yeah,
United
they're
and
kind
away
of
to Spurs. But
games
it's
they'd be hoping
great,
to
like.
pick up points in as well. Like,
Yeah, but it's not. It's as you said, if they're probably not. If they don't manage to pull a few points out of them 6 games, they're going to be in the bottom three.
they're going
And
to be real trouble. Yeah, so it'll be
yeah,
interesting one to watch. I just think he's been talking about him a lot all season, and I just feel like it's getting closer and closer to the edge for him. But look,
yeah,
that's kind of a roundup of this weekend. We'll jump to fantasy football, so we'll have a few minutes to squeeze in at the end about the upcoming fixtures this weekend. And you're still top of the
yeah.
league, leading the way.
Still,
So
still,
tell
still
us, tell
managing
us, share your wisdom with us.
the wisdom. Yeah, I'm just interested in looking at it. An awful lot of people pulled Haaland out. Just noticed that at the weekend there, and they've gone cheaper in the striking department. And a lot of people now are going with Salah, Saka, and Palmer. Which, if you had all 3 of them at the weekend, you would have came up trumps. They were very lucrative to have, and look like they're going to be lucrative to have going forward. But it's gas, isn't it? Considering where we were at the start of the season, where it was, I suppose, I was getting the flack for not having Haaland, and now everyone does it. Has been a mass exodus. Sorry.
that's true. Yeah,
Hmm?
you like I was surprised he never came up trumps after all the hat tricks he had at the start of the season.
Yeah, like you think about it,
He
like he
really
was
held
just.
out.
Yeah, so that's probably one of the reasons I'd say that I also a lot of people had pulled out Saka for some reason. Now he was linked to one of the most transferred players back in this week. Maybe it was due to, I don't know, it was an injury and Arsenal. I don't know. It was strange when I think to take him out because he's been contributing
Yeah,
pretty much nearly every game all season. But he was one of the most transferred players back in. Either was it last week or this week. He got a big pull. So just to give a shout out to one or two there to Victoria's Secret. Paddy O'Brien, who got 105 points, I thought was a cracking return there. He had, let me have a look there. Yeah, he had the Saka, Palmer, Salah as captain, and he had Evan Nielsen, which is an interesting one that's kind of going under the radar there. He's in that kind of price range with the likes of Weeks, Arcuna, but he's chipping in, isn't he? The new fella, new
Is
striker.
that's a strange one. Yeah, no, he was being touted now. I didn't. I
Yeah,
thought like what price is he?
I think he's in
around
around
six.
6 million, I think, and he has
Yeah,
4 goals and 4 assists, which isn't a bad showing so far. So just a shout out there to Paddy O'Brien, and then there was a Patrick Murphy. Do you know him? No, and you know Patrick Murphy? No, he also was 105 points as well, and he had Ahmed.
Oh,
Ahmed is actually another one who's going to be, I'd say, transferred in. He's only 5 million. And do you
Yeah,
have
he's
him,
good
Moss?
value, all right.
No,
I don't know.
no,
I had
no.
him around the
But
season, but then he got
yeah,
dropped. So
and
who
also I
who
think
was the third highest of this game week?
it was you, wasn't it? Saka.
Oh, sorry, was it me? Yeah, sorry, yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah, yeah. I'll get you in a second. Now,
because you're mentioning Howard.
yeah, Jesus, Howard. Like, can we not just give people, like, give Patrick his flowers for a second here? Fuck's sake.
Yeah. Stop stealing
But,
Patrick's flowers, Howard.
but yeah, stop stealing his flowers. Patrick had a good week there. He had Wood as well. And again, Saka captain, which my good friend here, Howard, I think, went with the Saka captain option, which got 36 return, which was some going, Howard. You would have been licking your lips there, I think, at half time, thinking, can he do a bit more damage in the
Yeah,
second half?
my defense is struggling now.
Yeah, Lewis is one. I see a lot of people have Lewis, but he City just aren't keeping clean sheets, and he's not really doing a whole lot at
No,
the
and
moment.
he
So
needs to
it's
go
yeah, and you
on
have
the bench.
Havertz, Jackson. Yeah, in fairness now, Jackson and Havertz in your strike line. So you had
Yeah,
a decent week there. Did you move up? You did. I'm sure you did. You're up to 18th
I'm
now,
sure.
Howard.
Yeah, I'm putting you down. I'm
Mossy.
putting you down, Dan.
Hang on, a Mossy. Oh yeah, Mossy 84. Oh, free hit, Mossy. Didn't see
I did
this.
end the week, yeah.
Oh, go on. You have a chat there now. You decided to go for the free hit option. Tell us about that. I didn't know you did
Yeah, I just wanted to experiment a little bit, taking some in, and I
that. Have a bit
wasn't
of
ready
fun.
to admit to full time bringing him in. So I said I'd try the
Hmm.
free hit. So yeah, look, I actually I had Gabriel in my own team without the free hit. So that would have got me about 8 or 9 points more. There was a few little things there and there, but over
Mossy, where are you?
Madison's
I can't see you on the table. What number is he? I'm actually not even joking. What number is he?
Mossy is 41st. Gentleman's
51st.
41st.
Good mid-table.
Howard, your steak is looking nice and rare at the minute, so it is. And yeah, look, I'm okay. I'm comfortable enough with it. Starting to get a bit of momentum back, and I'm sure I'll climb back up there.
do you not own you don't own Salah though, do you?
Oh, I
Are
own
you going to
Haaland.
sort that? No, or
I
what?
literally was messing with it beforehand to get rid of Haaland and bring in Salah. Yeah,
Right,
so
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
haven't fully decided. Sort of
It
one
is
when you
awful.
start changing around, you move 3 or 4, and then you're like, oh, is it worth
Yeah,
using all these points to do this? So that's the
yeah.
way I left it.
I'm considering using my wild card. I'm going to look at it tomorrow morning when we start seeing just what way players are, whatever. If we get any sort of information there, but I'm playing around with it at the moment. I brought Trent in at the weekend for Guardiola. And he actually got a bonus. The thing with Trent is that Liverpool keep clean sheets, even if he's not getting assists, because he creates so many chances, he seems to get bonuses. He's a lot though. He's still 7 million. I'm kind of playing around with whether or not just to keep in my defence. I still have Kanati on my bench, but he's going to have to come out. So I am weighing up whether or not this might be the week for the wild card. I'm not sure. I'll see.
As an option, Gomez is probably a decent option to bring in. He only is four
Cheap enough
point
as well.
fine,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he's going to probably be playing. So
You
there's
lose,
debate in that
Dan. You
one as
lose
well.
your wild card, is it? If you don't play it by January, is it?
Yeah, there's a second one that comes out. Yes, it's no. It makes no sense for me not to use it at some point. It's just whether or not I was going to wait to maybe nearer Christmas and maybe just go with players that have good fixtures over Christmas, and then you look then with your second wild card and maybe going back to. I don't know. I'm
You
kind
push,
of
you push the other one out then.
or
Yeah, it's hard.
yeah. It's hard to know.
So
I probably will. But anyway, yeah, that's the crack. So I'm top of the league by 9 points at the moment. So it's
Are you
very
top of
tight.
all your leagues now?
geez, Dan, top of the Champions League, top of the Premier
Oh,
League,
man, it's
and you're top
it's
of the fantasy football.
yeah.
Life is coming up trumps.
Well, I tell you what, I'm in.
And
One sorry.
just as a reminder, guys, for any of you playing our fantasy Premier League, that the prize is a jersey of choice at the end of the season. So currently, Dan has his eyes on a brand new Liverpool jersey with an extra Premier League on it.
I
That's what
might,
he's looking for.
might annoy how I might annoy. It's a Premier League jersey of choice, but can it be a retro jersey? Never. I wonder the disclaimer. I might just try and nail that for a few extra pound. Get a nice Liverpool
Get
or
through to him in his
Carlsberg one
anguish
or something.
state. We'll see whether he's up for retro debate right now. Look, we'll jump on to our Super Six because we've
Yeah,
got midweek games this week. It's some interesting, tough games. Dan, we'll start with yourself. Newcastle, Liverpool. What are you going for this week? Tough
yeah.
call.
It's tough call. I do think we would do have a decent enough record, and you can't say I can't go against them because of the way things are at the moment. And Isak, whether or not he plays would be my question mark because Newcastle's goal threat is significantly lower if he doesn't play. And he has scored against us in the past, so I'll take it that he probably will play. I it was hip or something. He went off with that. He might be available.
Oh,
So
exclusive.
go
Isak
on.
is fifth place, Liverpool.
There we go. Okay. So I'll go 2-1 Liverpool.
2-1.
That's
Interesting. Yeah, I suppose you're in such good form, and Newcastle just seem to be fluttering in front of goal, so you kind of have to fancy in that one. City Forest, Howard. That's a tough one to call.
City Forest. I put down a 1-0 City win. Just to stop the rot. Like, I just for Deck's sake. I feel bad. Like, if I'll be waving the
It's a
City
pity, one
flag
0
this weekend. Just to
City to
yeah.
park the bus and Haaland to score in the break, so we'll go 1-0 to City. Southampton Chelsea. What do you fancy for that one, Dan?
Yeah, the way it is at the moment, I think that I could see Chelsea winning possibly comfortably enough. Even though Southampton have given a few games a go, but the way they play will suit Chelsea, I think, and the likes of Palmer and the space that they'll have. So I'll go 3-0 Chelsea.
3-0 Chelsea, yeah. Southampton have upped it and they have been more competitive
Yeah,
in the league, but they just seem to shoot themselves in their foot repeatedly, which is
yeah.
the biggest issue. Everton Wolves, a classic few Howard to call in this one.
I've gone
Can Gary
2-1.
save his job?
2-1 to the Toffees.
Who wanted the toffee? Our
They could
Everton
definitely do the win, couldn't
listeners,
they? Fuck
Everton
me,
Yeah.
listeners
2-1.
will be delighted with that. They'll need it. Um, and look, Dan, we'll go with the neutral in this one. Arsenal United.
Yeah, I can't see anything other than an Arsenal win. It'll be interesting because they talk a lot about the new United boss with style of play and being kind of attacking open. Can he go and park a bus? Is there a Portuguese bus there that he can park and try and? I'm genuinely,
Portuguese, it'll probably be the lump of a Netherlands laid across the goal.
yeah, I just don't know whether or not can he do that, or will he actually just go at Arsenal, because that could be a recipe for disaster. So I'll go 3-1 to Arsenal.
Howard, I'm going to get your take on that one.
I actually put a 2-0 down on the Super Six to Arsenal. I think Martinez and Menu will be a bit of a loss, especially Martinez. I think I'm not sure how Kobe Menu's been playing this season, but I think Martinez probably suits the Amarin kind of three at the back style. More so than maybe your Johnny Evans or who's going to come in for him.
And Luke Shaw is going to come in there because he's coming back to fitness. So I would say he'll play the left of the three. So it'll still be a left
Do you
foot there
think Luke
playing from
Shaw
the
will
back.
start? Like, he hasn't played in how long? Like,
This will be his third game in a row. He's played kind of 40,
oh, has he?
35,
All right.
40 minutes against Ipswich. He played about 20 minutes. He played a bit more against Bode Glint. He played about 40. He didn't play much against Everton, but I think he's been played save for the Arsenal game. No, I don't think he played a full game, but I think he probably will start on the left of the three.
So
So
who are
that
the other two then?
then I'd say because we're playing Arsenal, he'll start defensive with the two at the back, and it'll be Ugarte and Casemiro in front of the back three.
And
Um,
who are the back three again? So Shaw.
it'll be Shaw on the left, Delit in the centre, and Mazraoui on the right, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
Euro is nearly back, but I doubt he'd bring him into that sort of a game to start his Premier League.
And
Probably
what
would
about be does he play with wing backs or what does he play with?
wing backs. Yeah, have been Ahmad and Dallo. So they've been the two wing backs
Wait,
in two
who?
of the games. Dallo
Oh, Dallo,
and
yeah. So
yeah, Ahmad.
Dallo falls back into the back four then when he's.
Yeah, into defensive shape, like so.
Mhm.
Um, preferably, I prefer. I think Amarin himself has said Dallo's better on the right, but look, I think with the form that Saka is in and Odegaard,
Yeah.
and Arsenal
Like
really are finding
Arsenal,
goals.
like Arsenal do all their attacking down the flanks, like 90% attacking goes down the flanks. So it's like you need to have a solid defensive fullback there, like pretty much all
Ready
the
to go.
time against them. So
Yeah, and I
it'll be
think the likes of
interesting.
Ahmad, who isn't a natural, like he's done a very good job filling in, but he's more of an attacking player.
Yeah,
I think like little lapses in concentration there might be difficult, but he's supported by Mazraoui, who's playing at the right of the three, but knows the right back position quite well. But yeah, I think even against Everton, we were exposed defensively. We are much better, much more impressive going forward. But I think defensively, Arsenal could cut us asunder at times. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a high scoring game, both ends, to be honest. But we'll see how it goes. I
Look,
would
Rashford
fancy
always
Arsenal.
has a goal for Arsenal. He fucking always
He
has
does,
one.
yeah. Yeah, he
So
does.
beware of
But
that.
I don't think sheer pace will be enough against Arsenal's defence, and that's kind of what we had against Everton. But look, Aston Villa, Brentford then is the last game. Villa are at home in this one, Dan. So are
Yeah,
they
I
going to
think Villa
stop
will
the
stop
rot?
the rot. Yeah, I think they
Yeah.
will. Brentford have been horrendous away from home, and I think they're the different two different Brentfords. They're flying at home, whacking in goals, and away from home they've
Weird,
struggled
yeah.
most of the season. Yeah. So I think Villa will be interesting to see, will Duran get a start? Will they give him a run with Watkins kind of fluffing a bit? So I'd be inclined to go for maybe a 2-1 Villa. Yeah, I think Brentford
2-1
could
Villa.
get a goal. Yeah, yeah, man. I think Wisa's been decent, and that lad, what do you call your man that scored a couple at the weekend? He looks good.
Shades, yeah. Well, he hadn't scored in
Yeah,
16 games
yeah,
or
yeah,
anything,
yeah,
Oh,
but he's going to
yeah.
score a hat
bit of
trick.
breaking news. Arsenal will
Oh,
host Man United in the FA Cup third round.
stop! Oh,
Jesus, right. Just that's after that breakdown of high scoring loss. I'm not exactly thrilled by that news. We'll see how it goes. Maybe
who did Liverpool
Arsenal will
get?
rotate.
Have you got a run of it there? No,
Sorry.
Let me see. I'll tell you now. I'll
have
get it
you?
up.
Yeah, yeah. Go on, you tell us there. Hot off the press. Come on, Howard.
Uh,
You have your finger on the pulse.
breaking news.
Hamworth and Tottenham Hotspur. That's the one, lads. Hamworth and Tottenham Hotspur.
ASFC. Oh, here we go. Arsenal United, City, Salford City, Man City and Salford City,
Ooh.
Liverpool, Accrington Stanley.
Oh,
Ch Chelsea have more come, and yeah, that's kind of the big ones then. Some great tussles there. Jesus, how did we get Arsenal? That's a terrible
Yeah,
start.
it's just bizarre, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
unfortunate. It's more
there's
unfortunate for United because Arsenal are home, but it's unfortunate for both, really.
yeah.
yeah.
I
There's a
think
few gas
United are
ties there.
hoping.
Yeah.
Is there what you say, Dan?
Just sort of see gas in there, like Bromley are going to Newcastle. Like there's just a few, like Morecambe going to Chelsea. Like it's there's usually when you look at this, the big sides are usually away from home against. But this one, when you look at it, most of the big sides are at home against. Besides poor United, the rest are all at home against like a very lower division side. Yeah,
Villa, West Ham is kind of the other Premier League kind of
yeah,
mention as
yeah.
well. We'll see.
So
The
the
FA Cup season is coming, lads.
11th
So
of January.
11th of January. Things are getting serious. It's getting to the business end of the season when
You
FA
won't be
Cup
happy with
start.
that, Massey. You won't be happy
No,
with that.
I'd be happy if he pulls off what Sporting did and managed to beat them in the Champions League. So look, we'll see how it goes. Um, Listen, lads. Any other business before we wrap up tonight? No.
No, I don't think so.
Nothing
Listen,
for me, Master. Well done on your first hosting of
Yeah,
the
well done,
show.
Moss.
I survived the first one. Hopefully, I'll be back for the
Oh,
second one next week, lads.
no,
So
you're
thanks a million
steady,
for joining us.
yeah, steady flow, and you're not like a smokestack either. It's like it's easier on the eye.
Yeah, you haven't seen me when United are winning yet. Now, chill out. Um, Listen, lads, thanks for joining
Thanks,
us.
Moss. Yeah,
Follow us, like us, etc. on Spotify and YouTube, and we hope to catch you again next week. Thanks for joining into the Football Fanatic podcast.
cheers.